Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Pubarama, and in today's video, I'll be breaking into this week's deals and discounts for Grand Theft Auto Online. I gotta say, this is quite possibly one of the best weeks in a very long time due to the money-making methods available. Let's start off, as always, with the discounted vehicles and the two free ones, both being Obey Omnibuses. The first Obey Omnibus is the original one. This is a rally car based off the Audi Quattro. I love the vehicle, absolutely a blast to drive, and to get your hands on it, you need to finish 3 days in a row, third place in a Pursuit series. Pretty dang easy. It's part of the LS Car Meet. Now, in my opinion, I'd just buy the Obey Omnibus if you want it that bad. It's only like $600,000, and if you own the Criminal Enterprise Starter Pack like me, which I'm pretty sure you can't even get GTA without purchasing it nowadays on PC, the car's absolutely free. So that's what I'll say about the Obey Omnibus. When it comes to the Obey Omnibus EGT, this is an electric version of nothing really similar to the original car. I'm not even sure why they carry the same name. The EGT is honestly fantastic for a couple of reasons. First of all, as you can see by this side plating here, this is an armored vehicle. It's an Imani-Tech car. So if you get this on the wheel spin and you don't own an agency, I'd highly suggest you do think about picking one up because you can armor this vehicle to survive 12 RPGs and homing missiles, which is pretty dang insane. Unfortunately, this version of the Imani-Tech vehicles does not carry bulletproof glass, as we can see, but still an absolutely fantastic car for everything considered, and both of these are really fun to drive. With that aside, let's get into the discounted cars this week, and there are 6 of them in total, starting off with the Ocelot Locust. Now, the Locust is just an incredibly fun car. I can't really say it's anything special, but it's just fun to drive. It's pretty average on top speed. I think it's around 117 miles per hour, 118, and it's pretty average on lap time as well for the sports class, but it's just a really fast little nippy car. It handles really well. As you can see, I can hold the turning, and it will lose a bit of grip if you swing it back and forth enough times, but for the most part, it's a very easy car to drive. It's super fun, and this is actually my Locust I'm driving here. I liked this car so much when I was testing it for one of the videos that I purchased it. So I really do think the Locust is a bit of joy, and if you like these types of small little Lotus type cars in real life, then this is definitely a car for you, and I would suggest to try it out because it really is a fun vehicle to mess around with. I also think it's got some really cool upgrades, and it just looks really nice. Obviously, you're not going to drive this every day, but it is a fun car just to bring out with your friends and have a fun laugh with. So that is the Locust. It's on sale, not crazy amount. It's about $400,000 off from its normal price tag, but it's not too bad of a discount either. Next up, we have a Supra. Everybody knows this car, and if you don't own it, well, this is probably the time to pick it up. The Supra is known for a lot of things, but the main one is being everybody's 90s dream car. I like the Supra. It's not my favorite vehicle because it does get too much hype for my personal opinion, but let's be honest, it still is an absolutely sexy looking car. It's got a great front design, the back of it's amazing. Rockstar actually did a really good job not completely ruining the design of this vehicle when bringing it into Grand Theft Auto Online. So I'm quite happy with the Supra. I think it is a really fun vehicle to mess around with. Now, it's not actually the fastest sports car. You would expect the Supra to be a pretty dang impressive performer for what it is, but surprisingly, no, it's actually not that good on its overall performance. It features, I think, about average top speed for the sports class, about 120, and it features pretty average handling as well, putting it in like 50th to 40th place for the sports class in general. So it's not that impressive of a vehicle, but it is a fun car to mess around with and drive. So if you don't own the Supra, as usual, I would suggest you pick it up. It's a fun JDM, and it'll definitely get a couple laughs out when hanging out with a couple friends, or even more especially bringing it to a car meet. So let's get back. What do we have next? And that would be the Viceris, I never know how to pronounce it, but this is another amazing car based off the Pantera de Tomaso. Now, I think that this is one of the best sports classics in the game, and usually whenever it goes on sale, I suggest to pick it up. I know that I say that for a lot of cars, but the Viceris is amazing. It is incredibly fast for a sports classic, being one of the fastest on top speed. Not only is it one of the fastest, but it also has one of the best lap times for the sports classics class. So in general, it's a pretty good vehicle. However, I did just learn one of the bad things about this car, which is the handling is not great, I'll be honest. While it has very good lap time, it's mostly because of the fantastic top speed it carries, and not so much the handling, as Rockstar actually nerfed this car a couple of years ago when it was doing so well on handling. So it does have a bit of a loose suspension, as you can see right there as an example, which I kind of forgot about when pulling it out around that corner. But either way, it's a really fun vehicle to mess around with. It definitely looks amazing. It's got pop-up headlights, which is an absolute win, in my opinion. And the car sounds so mean, just blah, 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 blah. I love any car that's got a big old girthy engine sound, and this is definitely one of those vehicles. So yeah, if you like old sports cars, if you like big engines and speed, the Viserys is definitely one of the vehicles to go for. And you can see here, it is a very fast vehicle. Also, one thing I do like that Rockstar actually does pay attention to detail is making detailed interiors for a lot of these sports classics in the game. For some reason, Rockstar doesn't really have a lot of the newer cars in Grand Theft Auto with detailed interiors, but this vehicle, as you can see, does have one. I also noticed that we just overshot the little discount stage we have here. So let's go park this car back and break into the next, which is the Fudo GTX. The Fudo GTX is probably the worst on sale car this week. It looks cool, it's got a lot of customization, but the problem with the Fudo GTX is it's nothing special. Its top speed is like 120, which is nothing crazy, and it's not a bad top speed. The problem is the Fudo GTX has no handling, and that really is the problem with a lot of the Fudos and Ballistas in GTA, is they really don't turn, they just drift, as you can see. Now, drifting is fun. If you're a person that likes rolling around corners at max speed and getting a lot of drifts out, then pick up the Fudo GTX, because it really is a fun drifting car. But as you can see, just alone from that corner I tried the turn, it doesn't really turn very well. And I'd say I'm a pretty decent driver when it comes to GTA when I try to be. So yeah, the Fudo GTX is just not a great car, especially for the price tag it sits at. So I don't know, let me know what you guys think about this car in the comments down below. Really, I would suggest to pick up this car if you like the look of it and you like customizations, especially on old JDMs, because that is really what the Fudo is meant for, is just having a lot of fun in a car. But it is pretty dang expensive. You know, even on discount, it's probably close to about $1 million. So yeah, it's really down to your personal opinion on whether that one's a good deal or not. This is a car that I actually think is really underrated. It is the Vapid Ellie. It's based off of, I don't remember what the movie's based off of. I forget every time, but it's a Nicolas Cage movie, and it's a fun vehicle. It's the Eleanor in real life, very fast, and it's just a great looking car. This is my own personal Ellie here, and I just love the way the vehicle looks. I think the pinstriping is great all the way down to the back. I like the fact that it's got 4 headlights on the front, which is kind of unique for the muscles class, and it's got really good handling. You can see that here. It has no problem rolling around these corners. It's not the fastest muscle car, but it doesn't really matter. The car handles really dang well, which is rare for a lot of rear wheel drive big engines muscle cars. So yeah, I really like the Ellie. I think it looks amazing. It's got a lot of fun livery options, and it's just a fun car to drive. It's also pretty cheap, as it normally is. I think it's around $600,000-$700,000. So yeah, getting your hands on this vehicle is pretty dang easy, and it's a pretty inexpensive price tag in general. So pick it up, especially if you like classic muscle. This is definitely the type of car for you. So let's make our way back. Let's get to the last discounted vehicle, which is the Patriot Mil-Spec. Now, the Patriot Mil-Spec is another Amani Tech car, and it's not as good, I would personally say, as the EGT, but it's still pretty decent. If we pull out any type of gun and shoot at the front glass, you can see that the front glass is semi-bulletproof, and so is the side glass here. So not too bad when it comes to that category. It means that if there is anybody trying to shoot at you, you are going to be completely bulletproof for about 10 or 5 seconds. After that, bullets are going to start going right through your vehicle and sending glass shrapnel into your face. When it comes to the Patriot Mil-Spec's top speed and handling, it's not very good. It's only a top speed of around 90-ish. It's not a very fast vehicle. Handling-wise, it's actually not bad, though, because it is so dang slow. So it does have that going for it. You're never really going to have to worry about driving off the road, because it is really obnoxiously slow. Now, the Patriot Mil-Spec is normally really expensive, so it is on sale, which is great. It's about $400,000 or $500,000 off this week. week. And the other great thing is this is an Amani Tech vehicle, which means that you can fully kit this vehicle out to survive about 12 homing missiles, and it can survive a lot of explosions in general, which is something that is absolutely amazing about the Patriot. I don't love the vehicle too much just because it's not great at off-roading, which is kind of what I really wanted this vehicle to be great at. It doesn't have a lot of ground clearance is the problem. You can see that here, the little arches, the side steps we have completely destroy the lower suspension, so it really is a problem. And I don't know, I just wish Rockstar made it so that you could actually lift suspension instead of lowering it. Either way, Patriot Mil-Spec, it's a good vehicle, especially if you want to have a very, very ruthless off-roader that has a lot of survivability. But the more important part of today's video that the majority of you are probably going to love is the agency. Specifically the fact that the agency is not only on sale. I always suggest to buy one when it is on sale. Even the more expensive one, like the Hiwick, is normally 2.8. It's only 1.6 as it is 40% off. But not only that, all renovations are completely on sale. So if I wanted to change my wallpaper to something like this, I can do it. It's normally $360,000, but boom. This week I can renovate it for $216,000, and there you go. Now my agency is renovated. But even bigger news than that, the agency has massive payouts on money this week. The Dr. Dre contract is going to pay out $2 million instead of the normal $1 million. That means that this week you are able to make a ridiculous amount of money with the Dr. Dre contract, which I would suggest to do. Not only can you make a ridiculous amount of money doing that, but as well, you can also make a ridiculous amount of money if you are to do any of the payphone hits, because they're paying 1.5 times, or security contracts, which are also paying double. So yeah, the agency this week is an absolute steal. Purchase one if you don't have it. Literally, you can purchase an agency and then 1 hour later make back the total amount of money you spent on it just by completing the Dr. Dre contract once, which you can, by the way, repeat every like 1 or 2 hours. So make sure you buy an agency if you don't have one. Now, this week's time trial we are going to be doing is not on this side of the map. It is right here, and we're going to go drive over to it and attempt it right now. Here we are at Stab City Time Trial. Now, the Stab City Time Trial is usually one of my favorites because this is the route I always drive through when I do my car reviews. So this should be very easy for me to do in the Body 801, as the Body is such a fast motorcycle. So we're just going to turn around here, start the time trial, and here we go. 2.8 miles in 2 minutes, which is not really that bad of a time at all. This is definitely going to be a time trial I'm going to make advantage of with my videos this week, though, when it comes to performance and lap time handling. So we are speeding along. Now, the Body 801, as I say every week, is the only motorcycle I'm going to be using and vehicle I'm going to be using for time trials, for the simple fact that not only is it easily accessible to anybody to get their hands on, only at $15,000 if you want to buy it on Southern San Andreas, but even better yet, the Body 801 is just such an incredibly fast vehicle. It's got a top speed close to 130 something if you're holding a wheelie, and it's got some of the best handling for the motorcycle class in the game, and you can see me using that absolutely fantastic handling right here when going up the road. So we've already cut off about a mile, almost 2 miles actually, and oh, don't want to crash there. We're all fine. That was a bit of a mistake on my part, but all good. We're still holding strong. We got 1.3 miles to go with about 1 minute left on the clock, so not too bad. We're just going to hug this corner tight, and let's see if we can pull a bit of a wheelie here. Hooah! Yeah, so this should be pretty dang easy. This is a super easy one. Alright, hugging this corner. I mean, you can see right there just how dang impressive the Body 801's handling is. Definitely an underrated motorcycle that, for some reason, a lot of people I don't see rolling around with that much. But 0.7 miles to go. We got 40 seconds left on the clock. Keep on going. Let's go down here. Just want to go pretty cautious. Don't want to end up hitting a pole or something downhill. But, okay. All good. This just reminds me when I'm doing the post-stop vans and I'm going 2,000 miles an hour downhill in them to crash into a wall or something like that. But as you can see, not a bad time trial at all to complete. My first try on it, super duper easy. And there you are, across the line. And yeah, pretty easy. $102,000 added into my account. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you'd like to see more like this, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. And at the end of the day, hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.